Speaking of dividends, NCB is in the news again, and one of their promises was to resume paying dividends. They have an EGM, an extraordinary general meeting coming up on Halloween, ironically, October 31. Give us the details, David. What's expected to be discussed?
Hopefully they don't scare us, but so the board had approved, the issuance of up to 300 million shares back in early September, and we've seen the proposed resolutions for this EGM. Why is it an EGM? AGM is once a year. Anything outside of the AGM is an extraordinary general meeting. So 300 million shares is the initial target amount, and then they've also included an upsize provision which allows them to actually issue an extra 150 million shares if that 300 million share target is actually achieved. So you're looking at somewhere between probably 18 to 27 billion Jamaican dollars if you're estimating a price of $6 JMD. Don't know, when that API is actually going to come into play, but the thing is, once you get that shareholder approval around October 31, it'll probably come up by December, January, earlier or in the early period, and it'll be interesting to see how the offer actually takes up, because there are two things that the chairman, Michael Lee Chin, actually mentioned in the letter to shareholders. It's actually posted in the TTSC and the JSC, and it was in both newspapers, both in Jamaica and also in Trinidad. So, it says NCBFG seeking to raise additional additional capital by way of the APO in this context. One, the NCB Group is a unique, diversified, and powerful regional financial services conglomerate that enjoys many competitive advantages and which has performed well on many metrics, including profitability. Certain capital recalibration strategies are being pursued to put NCBFG on a path to bolster the group's financial health, and this should be further enhanced based on the value to come from the use of proceeds of the APO. The ongoing development of the group's financial health in this way is expected to support NCBFG's progress towards once again providing consistent return to shareholders. So we've heard that they're planning to pay down debt, really at a company level. So I'm looking forward to see how this capital raise, based on the eventual final uptake, will actually flip the script for the holding company and give it that position to really going back to looking at dividends again. Because one thing that I believe they need to really clarify and address to people is the money that NCB Global Holdings, which is the intermediate subsidiary that holds Guardian Holding shares, is that money really getting life to reach Jamaica? Because that's apparently part of the problem, that you can observe from the financials, which is while you're seeing that those large dividend payments from GHL, you're not seeing that same amount of upstream from that subsidiary up to NCBFG's bank account.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a serious thing that they need to address, because we just probably cut the US dollar availability and credit cards in Trinidad. Perhaps having their own issues down there. So even if they're able to recalibrate and be in a position to get that capital from NCBJ to pay NCBFG shareholders, it still begs the question, as to the capital flows that should come from Clarion Group and Guardian Holdings to the parent, to really enhance the flavor for shareholders. Because I'm sure if the capital was flowing from Clarion and Guardian on a straight line basis up to NCB Financial Group, we're still making dividends today, despite everything that's going on.
So who can vote at this EGM on the 31st, David?
Once you're a shareholder, you can vote. I don't remember seeing a record date specifically for the EGM, but considering T+2, if you're on the JSC, or T+3 in Trinidad, you would have to be a shareholder ahead of the X date. So October 31 is a Tuesday, which means that you would have had to purchase probably by the Thursday to really show up on record on the 30th, basically before the actual meeting date. So basically on the Thursday, which would be the 26th of October if you're buying on the JSE, and the 25th if you're buying on the TTSE. Even if you don't want to share, you
In
can still
person
vote.
only? Is it in
No, it's
person?
actually virtual only.
Virtual only.
Yep, that's NCB style since COVID.
Okay. Well, shareholders, NCB, anyone interested in this company, you got your information.